This episode of the show is brought to you by HostGator. No matter what your business is, you need a website, and HostGator's easy-to-use drag-and-drop interface makes it easy to set up your website in just a few minutes. Plus, my listeners get hosting for as low as $3.95 per month, plus you get an additional 20% off just by going to juniormoneymakers.com/hosting. Welcome back to the Junior Moneymakers Podcast, the show that's all about helping you teach your kids how to become young entrepreneurs. All right, everyone, today we're going to continue on our 10-part series about how to get your business started. So last week on Wednesday, we did part 1, which was all about researching and testing your idea, making sure that you came up with something that was going to work for you and not something that was going to be like selling lemonade out on the streets in an Alaska winter. Part 2, today, we're going to talk all about the initial planning stages of your business. So this is going to be just as important as researching and testing your business was, because if you don't do your planning right, ultimately, you're going to end up failing. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to email me what you and your family came up with after last week's episode. Then I want you to get your notebook, and then we're going to get started. Are you ready? Let's do it. All right, so by day, if you don't know, I run a leadership academy. I have about 8 cadre members that work for me, and we push about 600 students every single year through our 5.5-week course. So one of the things that anyone who sits in my office for any length of time has heard me say before is that if you don't know where you want to end up, it really doesn't matter which direction you go. This was something I picked up from Lewis Carroll in Alice in Wonderland. So you can kind of... This was something I picked up from Lewis Carroll in Alice in Wonderland. So to give you some excerpts from the book, Alice is asking, would you tell me please which way I ought to go from here? The Cheshire Cat, one of my favorite characters in any book, says, that depends a good deal on where you want to get to. Alice, of course, replies, I don't much care where. The Cheshire Cat then says, then it doesn't matter which way you go. And Alice says, so long as I get somewhere. And the Cheshire Cat says, oh, you're sure to do that, if only you walk long enough. You see, this is a good starting point for anyone that I mentor or lead because it gets them thinking about where they want to go. The bottom line is, if you don't know where you want to go, it really doesn't matter which direction you turn. You're going to end up somewhere. You're just not likely to end up anywhere that you want to be. So no one climbed Mount Everest, no one won a World Series, or built Google without an end in mind. So business being about the journey, and it is about fun and all those other things, but we really do have to be moving towards something. So on this episode, I'm going to help you collect your thoughts before we move any further. So pay attention, go through the steps, and this is really going to help us set a good foundation. Oh, one thing that I wanted to tell you, there's a companion to this episode that you can get by going to juniormoneymakers.com/plan. It's a 1-page, simple business plan that you can fill out while you listen along or after the episode is over. And honestly, this one is custom made for Kid Hustle, so don't expect anything too intimidating. juniormoneymakers.com/plan. Okay, if you're still on the fence on whether your kid needs a business plan or not, let me simplify it for you. They do. Now, I know that when we think of business plans, we imagine some thick binder with charts and spreadsheets and lots of pages, but let's remember that we're not a big business and we're not going after any financing, ever. And since we're going to be a small business, especially when we start, and we're never ever going to get any financing, a simple 1-page business plan that you can fill out in an afternoon or a weekend will suffice. And fortunately for you, if you go to juniormoneymakers.com/plan, I've already went through the trouble of creating the template for you. This is something that every one of us needs to do, so don't kick the can down the road. Let's just do it. All right, on the business plan that I uploaded for you, there's a few categories, and I'm going to tell you how to fill them all out. First is your business name. We're not going to get wrapped around the axle on our business name. I do have a prior episode for you that you can reference, which is episode number 8, Let's Name Your Business. So go back to that episode, and it's going to give you some ideas of how to get started there. So once you have your business name written down, and remember, this can be a placeholder for now, it's time to start working on some general information. So after the last episode, you should know what your product or service is going to be. So we want to fill that in. Be specific. Next, who is your customer? So we talked about your avatar on the last episode, and you took some time and made a 1-page rundown of who your customer is or your ideal client. So just put 1 or 2 sentences in here that reference back to that document. Now, lastly, in this section, I want to know what problem your product or service is going to solve. This needs to be the key of your business and why anybody wants to listen or do business with you. All right, once you've got the general information section filled out, we're going to jump into marketing your business. So, first, how are people going to find out about your business? There's a lot of different ways that you can go about marketing. There are things like Facebook and other social media. You can buy Google ads where people see your business pop up anytime they're doing Google searches related to your keywords. These are all sciences that you can do a lot of research on and watch lots of good, great YouTube videos that'll help you get started. But in all honesty, it can be as simple as word of mouth or dropping into established businesses, like when I talked to Zoe about becoming a home chef. I had mentioned that maybe she should start stopping into small customer service related businesses and offering to have them join her Cookie of the Week club so that they can start giving out cookies to their clients. So the question is, how are people going to find out about you? And do some research before you start writing on this one. After this, there's a section that says, why should people refer their friends to your business? Referrals are a major part of any business. And ideally what we'd like is a lot of repeat business and a lot of referrals. If you get repeat business and referrals, the growth of your company will be exponential. And if you're not sure, that's a really, really good thing. So figure out what you're going to be offering people to refer their friends and make it good. All right, the next section is financials. What are the costs of goods? And this is going to go from construction all the way through sale. So when you're designing your product or service, you need to know what it's going to cost you in order to deliver that. So for example, if you're in the lawnmower business, it may cost you gas. And sometimes what people will do is say, okay, it's going to cost me $4 in gas to mow this lawn. But you also have to do things like change the oil and replace the mower periodically. And so if you know that your mower is going to take you 5 years before you have to replace it again, and you know that you're going to have to change the oil once per quarter, then you can put the cost of oil for the entire year, so 4 times whatever the cost of oil would be, and then you can factor that into the number of clients that you expect to have over the year. So let's say that that's going to cost you $100 and you're going to have 100 clients. Then you know that for each client, you need to charge $1 in order to pay for the cost of oil. So when you're talking about your cost of goods, just make sure that you factor in advertising, maintenance costs, and the replacement of equipment over time. Next up, we're going to talk about what your product sells for. And if you're a mathematician, then you know that if you take your cost of goods and you subtract that from what your product sells for, you're going to come close to your net profit. So your net profit and gross profit and all of these other things are stuff that I'll cover on a future episode. But for now, just focus on what your product is going to sell for and how much your goods are going to cost. All right, the next section of your business plan is going to be goals. Now, I did an entire episode on goal setting, which was episode number 14. So just go back to episode 14 and listen to how you should set goals for your business. But the big thing here is you need to understand what your main purpose is. Then you need to break it down and make it specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. This can be related to how many customers you want to serve, how many products you want to sell, or how many dollars you want to make. And don't be shy about making it about the money. It's okay to have a business where your goals are financial as long as your purpose is not about making money. And so I can measure the success of my podcast, for example, by how many advertising dollars I make, but ultimately the success is going to be related to how many kid businesses I'm able to get started. All right, now the last section on the business plan is section 5, and that's the milestone section. So in section 5, I want you to look at your goal. What is your goal? Then I want you to take that goal and break it down into 3 major milestones. What are the 3 things that you're going to need to do in order to get started? So if you're starting a lawnmower business, for example, you're going to need to get your equipment, your lawnmower, your oil, all of those things, air filters, the stuff that you need to start a lawnmower business. After that, you're going to need to advertise. And then you're going to need to, whatever your next goal or milestone is, that one needs to go in this section. Once you have your 3 milestones set out, you can start incremental tasks that will get you there. But again, listen to that section on goals, and it's going to show you exactly what you need to do to set good goals and good milestones. All right, I know that this sounds like a lot of information, but if you just download the business plan from juniormoneymakers.com/plan, listen to this episode and take the time to fill it out, you're going to be ready next week when we delve even deeper in how to start your business. So set yourself on the right path, and once you've filled out the plan, email me a copy. I'll give you feedback, I'll tell you how it looks, and I'll give you some tips on how you might be able to improve it. So my email address is mark@juniormoneymakers.com. While you're at it, let me know how you like this series so far. Is this helpful? Am I answering any questions? And are there any questions that you'd like me to answer on future episodes? There's still 8 more episodes in this series, and I really look forward to hearing how it helps you get your business started. So, in that case, this is going to wrap up the second episode of the Starting Your Business series. Until Monday, dream big and change the world. Hey parents, I'm about to tell you how to get free advertising for your kids' business on the podcast. If your kids are going to have a business, they're going to need a website, and HostGator makes it super simple for you to set one up without any expertise or experience. They have a very simple drag and drop interface and true one-click installs that make it easier than ever for you to create the site you want. On top of that, you can get web hosting for as little as $2.78 a month, plus you get an additional 20% off just by using my affiliate link at juniormoneymakers.com/hosting. Oh, and that free advertising I mentioned, just email me a copy of your receipt after using my affiliate link, and I'll work with you to create a custom ad for your kid's business whenever you're ready. Just go to juniormoneymakers.com/hosting and sign up today. So right now I'm reading this book about anti-gravity. It is impossible to put down.